Hi, everybody, and welcome to our one shot for DeadLands. Anyway, it's a really cool system, and basically it's cowboys, magic, and zombies, alternate reality. And now I guess we can kind of jump right in, and I'm going to do a little bit of a spiel, and it's not mine. It's a video game called The Weird West, but it really sets the setting well, and I think we will all benefit. So, the West, a land of opportunity, adventure, a place where you can be a hero, a scoundrel, and frankly anything in between. Play your cards right, and coming out here could be the best thing that ever happened to you. If you can survive, that is. Because here's the thing. This ain't quite the Wild West as you know it. There are ancient powers at war with each other. Strange entities lurking in the dead of night, with their own rules and their own peculiar motives. No matter which side you take, you better watch yourself. Don't get me wrong, rewards are waiting for those who are brave enough to unveil the mysteries out here in the land of opportunity. But opportunity can come at a pretty high price. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the world of the Weird West. Are cowpokes, adventurers, scoundrels, gamblers, con women, all of the above. You all are loosely members of a group of individuals in the Weird West. They're called the Twilight Legion. They pay normal people like you to hunt down and destroy the weird things that the common folk would not be able to handle, the bedtime stories that have become real life out here in the West. And that has brought all of you to the city of Deadwood in South Dakota. This very seemingly prosperous town exists kind of encumbered by the Sioux Nations, Native American tribes that for the most part keep to their own and don't interfere too much with each other. Coming into Deadwood, war always seems to loom in Deadwood. The treaty passed a few years back between the town and the local Sioux has held, but tensions are always high. Miners work with permission in certain parts of the Black Hills allotted to them by the natives, but often stray, either out of greed or just plain mistake. You're all just finishing the finest breakfast in town thanks to Aunt Lou Marchbanks at the Grand Central Hotel, when you see the strangest sight through the large picture window. 4 Sioux individuals riding up the post outside hitch up their horses and begin walking right in. You're all situated at a table in front of the main window. The Sioux see you all as they dismount, stepping up onto the boardwalk and wiping the mud from their moccasins as they enter. As they do enter, you see all the other patrons in the Grand Central Hotel that seem to stare almost before averting their gaze as soon as one of the natives would look in their direction. So you're all at this very massive table. And I want to go ahead and take a minute to go around and introduce our characters. So we can start with the first one on our overlay. John, would you like to introduce your character? Give us a brief what they look like and what they're best at.
Sure. I am playing Padre Juan, who is a Catholic priest from Mexico, who is destined to serve the Lord and help rid the world of evil and hopes to save humanity. So he is kind of a cleric type healer who has some beneficial buffs and is pretty good with the gun and is pretty excelled at exorcism, so be able to bring some light to the party.
Okay. Next to him at the table is a much older man. Chris, if you want to introduce your character.
Well, thanks. I'm not that much older. But yeah, I'm playing Ichabod Hohenheim. I am a mad scientist who's kind of like a shadier fellow. Kind of does a little bit of drug dealing on the side. Maybe dips into his own stash once in a while. but he creates like crazy inventions and weapons and such.
Okay, moving over to Kevin. And Kevin, it does not have to be complicated, but tell us a little bit about Peter Vilemouth Michaels.
To be honest with you, I honestly forgot.
Okay. So, for everyone as well as Kevin, Peter Vilemouth Michaels is, in layman's terms, a gunslinger. Not the fastest gunslinger, but he's up there, and he is very rarely on the right side of the law. He's a younger man, and he likes to talk more shit than maybe he's capable of handling. So we'll move over to free range.
My name's Waylon Churchill. I'm the owner and barkeep of the Saloon number 3 here in town. A bit of a ladies' man, if you will. Don't be afraid of my size. I'm a teddy bear. And I have a little bit of a drinking problem.
And binds.
Playing as Miles Phil. He's a ex-lawman and one of the fastest shooters in the West. He's kind of quit the law game and now he's just kind of wants to be left alone and gamble.
Jenna?
My character's name is Jess North. She's a highly skilled rifleist. Rifle. I don't know what the word is. And she's used to being hired out for her skills using her rifle. That's it.
And last but not least, Michelle.
Her name is Lily. She is a self-proclaimed greatest con woman. She uses her looks to kind of get her own way and just con people in the process.
Awesome. So you're all sitting around this very large round table. You've known each other for any period of time that you guys see fit, but for this instance, you guys are comfortable working with each other, at least to some extent. And you see these Sioux natives begin to walk in, a very strange sight for the people of Deadwood in general, as the Sioux do not often come into town. They usually stick to their own territories outside. As they are walking through, if I can get a couple of you guys can decide who wants to do it, but to roll some notice rolls. If any of you are skilled in the notice skill, which everyone should be, I believe that's one of our common skills that we have. So let's see, Ichabod and Waylon are the only ones who will notice this, but as the natives begin to come in, you see one of them very hesitant before refusing Aunt Lou, the owner, with a slight shrug as she tries to offer him some coffee and some breakfast. He just kind of nods respectfully towards her and then looks to you as he nods to you guys as well. And they begin to shuffle over and sit at a farther table, one of them kind of trying to hide his intent, but at the same time looking to you guys off and on, seemingly recognizing at least one of you. Whether you recognize them is an entirely different story.
Well, those fellows seem to know one of us.
What do you think they all want? It's not common for them to come around these parts.
I don't know, but it does pique my interest. Haven't studied too many Sioux yet.
They're dangerous folk, I can tell you that now.
Well,
As you guys are kind of discussing this, you see one of them, the one who's kind of shiftily looking at you guys over and over again, gets up and with a very loud scoot of his chair as he stands, his legs kind of pushing it back further away from him, begins to nervously walk towards you all. And as he's walking towards you, just kind of is looking at the ground and then looking back up. You see that he's left, they have all left whatever weapons they would be carrying. They're all strapped to their horses outside. And as he walks up, he kind of nods and says, "Please, can we have a moment of your time?"
Yes, waiter, I'll take the 3-egg omelet And just a cup of coffee. That'll be it.
Respectfully, sir, but I do not work at this establishment.
Oh. What'd you need?
It is a complicated matter, but the people here in town are going to be faced with a very delicate matter and may need the help of one such as yourselves. You are with the Twilight Legion, aren't you?
That we are. Mind yourself. Show the man the respect he deserves, or he'll haunt you in your dreams.
Yes, ma'am.
As you're saying this, Jess, you also notice that he's like very heavily staring at the pot of coffee on the table for a moment as he like breathes the aroma in deeply, and then he just lets out a long sigh and smiles, saying, "I believe in the old ways, but sure do miss coffee. It has been too long."
Well, don't hesitate. Go get yourself one. We'll order you one right now. What can we do for you? What's going on?
Before the coffee, let us discuss more important things. 2 of the local miners, I believe, were slain in the hills last night. Their bodies were filled with many arrows. One of our warriors is missing, but this kind of thing is not like him.
Definitely seems odd for one of your own to just go rogue by himself.
You see, like, quickly glimpses back at the other natives sitting at the table in the far back, and the moment that he sees that they're not paying attention, he steals a sip of coffee and just kind of enjoys it for a moment.
I say nothing, just act like nothing's happened, but push my coffee just a tad bit closer.
Now, we don't believe...
Still waiting on my coffee.
Yeah, the establishment has a waitstaff that begins to come out and distribute a very large, hefty breakfast to everyone at the table, as well as another pot of coffee and cups and everything.
I take out a small glass vial and put a couple drops in my coffee and take a sip. Just kind of sigh.
Jess rolls her eyes and just like shakes her head. Ruined a perfectly good cup of coffee.
Now, we don't believe the people are responsible for this crime, but it is a delicate matter, and we know that to some degree you all will be trusted here. Would you be willing to help us find who did this thing before it leads to conflict between our peoples? We do not want war, but if provoked, our people will pursue.
What's in it for me?
Nothing. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Obviously there's the fact that it'll prevent a massive conflict between the civilians of Deadwood and our Sioux Nation. That's a big thing.
I don't know about y'all, but I like to fight. I don't mind it.
It's definitely something I like to dabble in every now and then. But only if it benefits me. I'm not here for a full-on war where I have to pick sides.
We're not asking you to pick sides. We just want whoever the real culprit is to be found so that a war can be avoided.
Want a pair of one of them moccasins. Those things you wear on your feet. They look comfy. I stand around at the bar all day and it can get a little uncomfortable. That's what I want.
So just
moccasin.
Just a pair of our footwear for all of you?
Some moccasins? Man, those things are some of the comfiest things I've ever worn.
I don't speak Spanish. That's Padre over here.
¿Qué pasó? Dígame.
So, it seems that some of you are less wary, more readily willing to come help us. Is there anything the rest of you would need to secure that trust from us?
Padre. SOCKS. Spells socks. That's like what we're gonna try to get.
Sí, mijo, that's right. That's right, gringo, that's right.
Arrivederci. Alright, I'm in. I'll help you.
How do you feel about donating possibly a few vials of blood?
You wish to acquire our blood?
Yes. I tend to run some experiments, and it could be useful in my research.
While I am wary of this, if that's all it takes to get you to come with us, then I would be happy to donate however much blood you need that I could still be alive afterward.
As much as I can take without you dying? Okay.
Is that really necessary? Do you really need more?
I
Man
told you, I've
wants what
not
he wants.
investigated the Sioux too much. This would be a great opportunity for my research.
And what of the
Anyone else? I'm in.
Yeah, what of the others at the table? Are you all willing? Ready?
Mijo, I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, but he sounds like he has the power of Papa Dios behind him, so I will gladly follow you to whatever your purpose. Vamos.
Padre's in.
Lily's in as well.
I don't want a war in this town, so if we can stop it, let's do it.
What the hell? Let's go.
Very well.
One more request. I've heard your kind dabbles in a plant called peyote. Is it possible to acquire some of this?
You're looking for a vision quest, sort of thing.
You can call it that.
I'm sure we could acquire that for you.
Excellent.
When would you all be able to leave? Just I don't want to interrupt your breakfast any more than I have.
I'm good.
Just stuffs a couple pieces of bacon in his pocket.
I down the rest of my spiked coffee and
What time of day
Just
is
go.
it? Just midday?
I'm ready. I'm quite ready now.
Right now it is probably around 9 or 10 in the morning. It's very it's not sunny out. There's heavy cloud cover. It's very kind of somber outside with a fairly decent drizzle, and the cold air kind of wafts into the establishment anytime the door is opened. Just leaves a chill on your guys' spines as new patrons come and go.
Who put bacon in their pocket?
The native.
All right.
It is not often that these individuals get like cooked meals like this. It is not to their ways.
Where are we going?
Please follow me. It is just a trek outside of town to get there.
Just take us a minute to saddle up our horses and we'll be right on out.
Right. It'll be about a 2-hour ride, so if you need anything immediately from town, I would grab that now.
Alright, sounds good.
As everybody's gathering their things, I'm gonna kind of step aside to him and kind of lean in really close, and I'm assuming I'm probably bigger than him.
Yes,
Is that
very
right?
much so, yeah.
So I'm gonna get close enough where you can almost taste the food that I just ate, like that comfort level of close, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna need that bacon.
What do you mean, sir?
I'm gonna need that bacon.
Okay, go ahead
And like I think my mustache might be touching his face.
Okay, at this point, okay, can you roll an intimidation check for me with a +2, so you can up that little modifier on the side to a 2 for this roll.
No.
Not great. He
I think I'm just gonna like fart and just kind of be uncomfortable.
Yeah, as you do this, you get him in his face and you're asking for this from him. He kind of like is just staring you dead in the eyes, like not wanting to waver, as you like just immediately like just let out a gruesome burp, and he backs up and just is like, "I'll see you when you are ready, sir. I do apologize for any inconvenience that this has caused you," and just begins walking away again.
Jess pulls Waylon away. Don't. Why? Why were you doing that? Why? Was that totally necessary? I have bacon. You could have my bacon. I didn't even touch it.
I'll take a pretty lady's bacon. I'll take it.
So, as you all begin to pack up your belongings, your horses are also tied up on posts outside of the establishment. I had you all gear up when we made characters, so I don't think you guys need anything unless you guys have forgotten something and have just remembered that you would like to buy it.
do we need food provisions or anything like that?
We're not going to worry about that for right now. Just for a one-shot sake. You guys have just eaten a very hearty breakfast, so you guys are good for a little while. And it's just
I
about.
just want to say, canonically, my horse is very large.
Yeah.
And also obese.
Oh,
Yeah, because
no.
both your horse and Waylon they're both obese.
Yep, we're
Okay.
slow.
Got it. What is your horse's name, Waylon?
I haven't thought about that. I just call it horse.
Cool.
You don't get a horse? And it comes to me.
Yeah, that tracks. Yep. As you all begin heading out, unhitching your horses, you guys are met with the cold air and the fairly decent drizzle as you guys have your rain slicks and different coats and belongings. Begin strapping them to your horses, getting on and getting ready for this 2-hour trot out of town on muddy, unpaved roads.
Yeah, so as I'm getting my horse ready, I walk up to its head, pet him.
Uh-huh.
I take out a little like a medicinal little envelope, those little pieces of paper with a, and I give him a little bit of special powder. Say, good boy. I think we're about ready to leave. And then I strap my my flamethrower to the side of the horse. Get ready to go.
Did you just give your horse cocaine?
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Try to keep it out of the back of my mind for now. Now, as you all and this group of 3 natives begin trotting out of town, you see the townsfolk around the main streets begin to move aside, giving you all just kind of disdainful looks almost. And then I'll break into this. As you all exit the town, you see a tired-looking preacher dragging a box onto Deadwood's main street. A burly man with a heavy but neatly trimmed beard. He yawns and steps onto the box, and then looks around at the crowd. He catches the sight of you, your entire party, and the Sioux warriors. It gives you all kind of a sleepy smile as he begins to speak. Not necessarily to you all, but to the denizens of the fair city of Deadwood. Good morning, friends and citizens, he says as he looks out at the crowd that begins to form. Hearken, all ye sinners, for we are all sinners. As you break your fast and head to the mines or saloons or wherever you toil, remember that God Almighty has placed the entire world before you. As it says in Genesis, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Most of the people begin to walk on by, but a few do stop and listen, perhaps shaking the last cobwebs from their minds as they're waking and getting around from last night's probably just as dismal day. Most are giving you a wide berth, as I said, staring in wonder at the strange figures riding through the crowd, a few giving more sinister and dismal glances. And you know it wouldn't take much for the distrust between the two peoples to rise to conflict once more.
Waylon's gonna keep on going by him on his horse and just be like, "We have a padre, thank you." And keep going, and my horse is gonna poop, and then I'm just gonna keep kind of walking.
Yeah, you see him kind of smirk at you as you continue on, and then immediately, like, his face just turns to disgust as the horse just drops trow basically right in front of him.
That's right, I got one man to save my soul. I don't need 2. Padre's all we need. Move on.
So, riding up the very kind of not very often traveled roads other than by miners, I need you all to make riding rolls. If you do not have the riding or piloting or driving skill, then you can roll your unskilled skill check that's in there.
Boy.
Oh,
Skills. So we have Mild Phil, successful. Lily, not successful. Ichabod, not successful. Padre, not. You guys suck at riding horses.
I think mine fits me
Oh,
perfectly.
man!
So as you guys begin riding out, it isn't long before you meet a slope that the horses just aren't used to handling, as they almost begin to slide. So it's not anything super dangerous. It's more of an embarrassment moment as a few of you kind of like As your horses slip, they kick you off and you fly and fall into the mud and now are much dirtier than before, before catching up to your horses and grabbing and then getting back on and kind of paying a little bit more attention to your surroundings as you're riding.
Ayúdame Dios, this is why I prefer riding.
As you guys continue to travel through, you reach the scene of the murder around noon, the one that the natives, the Sioux, had spoke of. And at this point, a brief spot of sunshine begins to penetrate the clouds and illuminates a very sad and gruesome sight.
Y'all smell that, or is that just me?
Just you.
So you all see a single ratty tent that has been set up about 30 yards off the main path, just visible from the main road. Miners' tools and other camp necessities are strewn about. A makeshift table holds 2 dirty plates and spoons, and a pot of cold deer stew. Whatever happened must have taken place either during or right after dinner. Nearby all of this are 2 bodies lying on their backs, both wearing overalls and heavy jackets, spotted with mud and grime that marks them as miners. It seems from a distance their throats have been cut. They've even been scalped, and each of them has several arrows sticking out of their torsos. The natives, Angry Clouds, and his companions remain mounted at the entrance to the camp, showing by their body language and demeanor that they have no wish to influence your guys' investigation or give you guys any falsities to their involvement or anything like that. So the scene is for you guys to investigate at this point.
Alright, first thing I do is I unstrap the flamethrower from my horse and put it on. I'll start walking around.
You all should have control of your tokens, unless I did it wrong.
Jess is going to start looking around the outskirts of the campsite, looking for any clues.
Padre Juan starts closing the eyes of the deceased, putting their hands over their chest, and starts saying a prayer.
So you guys are free to do, like, if you want to do notice rolls, if you want to do survival for tracking, or you want to do a healing roll to see, like, investigate the wounds on the bodies, or do a common knowledge to see if you know the individuals or know anything about their presence here. You guys are free to do anything that you might help with your investigation. So if Jess is just north is investigating the edge of the property, you can go ahead and roll a notice roll for me, Jess. You can start with that.
I got a 3.
3. So walking around the perimeter of the camp, nothing seems to catch your eye, and there's moments where your mind kind of leaves you. This is a common thing for you, though you may not talk about it too much. Almost like your mind is fighting against itself, and it kind of distracts you for a moment as you walk the perimeter, but you don't notice anything out of place, anything that would give you any additional information about the circumstances here.
Can't seem to find nothing over here. Except shadows in the darkness.
She's just an edgelord.
Yeah, Ichabod wants to examine the bodies.
Okay.
These would make good subjects if we didn't have to do this investigation. Some of these parts may be useful.
Alright, what are you trying to figure out from the bodies?
See if there's any indication of how they died, or who, any clues as to what have happened to them.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a notice.
Maybe that notice.
I'm assuming you want to take the higher roll?
Yeah.
Okay. What you can tell just by kind of heavily examining them, your very scientific mind begins rebuilding the events that must have happened, like Robert Downey Jr. and Sherlock Holmes. I hope everyone gets that reference because it was an amazing movie. But anyway, from what you can tell, the men were on their knees when their throats were cut, and both of them seem to have been facing in the same direction. By the blood splatters on the ground, they must have fell forward and then were rolled onto their backs before the arrows were shot into their chests. That's what you can determine with that notice roll.
I let everybody being the least bit helpful.
What
I'm
is
taking a leak he's just peeing by a tree.
Yeah, it's very auditory. Like you guys hear the splatter of liquid, and it's a long one.
We'll look over at Padre and just kind of say, Padre, nod at him.
Mijo, Mijo, this doesn't take science to comprehend, yeah? Se cagaron la pantalones. They're scared. Look, they're dead.
I look at Padre and say, "Well, it looks like they were on their knees. They might have been praying."
See, mijo, not enough.
Padre Juan, do you have anything you would like to roll? You want to roll healing check to see if you can figure out anything, or survival, or anyone else?
Yeah, Peter is basically over here by this tent, just smoking a cigarette and kind of looking around, just seeing if anything like valuable or, something that might catch my interest in the tent.
Okay, go ahead and roll a notice check for me. Okay, taking that higher die roll.
Oh yeah.
So, as you're smoking, you're kind of with your boot, not fully entering the tent, but kind of flipping some stuff over. There doesn't seem too much of value. There's a couple bedrolls, but as you flip one of the bedrolls, it kind of curls over, and you see a small indentation has been put in the ground, a small hole that's been dug, and with some kind of loosely littered dirt over the top of it, you see a small lockbox.
Okay, is there any way I can pick it up and then try to force it open, either with my knife or shooting into it?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to shoot it, or do you want to open it with your knife? Either is fine.
I'll do the knife.
Okay, so
or at least attempt.
Right, as you pick up the lockbox, go ahead and roll a strength roll, so just your strength attribute, or you can roll athletics if you'd like. So as you get your knife kind of in between the box's latch and the small padlock that's on it, you begin prying as the padlock kind of bursts from the pressure, unhitching from the box's latch. So as you open up the small wooden lockbox, there is $50 as well as a few sizable pieces of gold that seems like they must have stolen it from the mines last they were working there.
Alright, basically I'm just gonna relay all that information to the group.
Has anyone searched the bodies yet?
Ichabod kind of examined their wounds and kind of replayed the scene over there, but nobody's searched their pockets or anything.
I would like to search them.
Go ahead and you can roll a notice roll as well. So as you begin searching their pockets, you find a few small coins on them, nothing too much of value. One of them also has a small 6-shooter. Nothing that would require a lot of skill to use, but just something for protection. Other than that, they just have the clothes on their back.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take what they have and put it in my pocket or my bag.
You guys see the Sioux kind of anxiously pacing on their horses, trying to keep all your horses also on the path, so that they don't wander. I have a couple of you make survival rolls. Peter, looking through the camp as you're carrying this lockbox around, you notice first and foremost the miners' boot prints are about as one would expect, but there's also quite a few moccasin prints. One obvious pair of prints is only a few feet in front of where the miners were clearly on their knees, as if someone were standing before them when they died, and another one behind them. Secondly, as you kind of look around, you see what looks like, covered by brush almost perfectly, a trail towards the back of the camp, leading through the woods and heading down into a steep draw. You notice multiple bare and kind of bloody footprints and a set of worn moccasin prints. They go from the camp down the trail and into the draw below. Whoever made the prints was obviously running.
I basically relay that information to everybody and say that we may want to follow the footprints.
I've seen these kind of footprints before. It's those moccasins.
Aren't they moccasins?
That's what I said.
Pretty sure it ain't, but we'll go with what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you guys wish
Waylon's
to do?
already following the footprints.
Okay.
Padre Juan says, "Bang, ayúdame," and he starts pulling the bodies together and looking for stones around to kind of bury them, get buried.
So you start digging graves for them?
Nope, not digging graves, just finding stones to pile over them.
Pile over. Okay. So Waylon and Peter begin heading back towards the trail while you're doing this. Is anyone aiding the Padre as endeavor to give these guys at least somewhat of a burial?
I just
walks
look
over
back.
and help.
I look back to them and just say, "You're wasting your fucking time. Let nature take its course."
You need to always respect the dead, or the dead will come back for you.
I'll help him, but I'm talking to Padre. I'll say, wouldn't me just burning them be more efficient?
No,
It's kind of a lot of work.
you must let the earth, the dirt, take them back.
I mean, the dirt can take them back extra crispy.
Also, we don't want to start
yes.
a wildfire. Do you see how crispy it is out here?
Eso mismo. You start the fire, and everybody else come around. Chingala su madre.
Can I have Waylon and Peter roll notice checks for me? So Peter with a 5 on your wild die, kind of pushing through the brambles, uncovering the trail a little bit more. You begin to see something a little bit disturbing. Stuck to several branches and thickets along the path, you see globs of sticky blood and patches of torn skin and other tissues. There's enough in the first 20 yards to probably fill a mason jar, so whatever ran through here got torn up pretty bad. The branches aren't particularly tough either, so their skin must have been very soft and easy to tear.
I'm yelling out to the group, "Oh, fucking hell, man. Come look at this shit."
Oh, wasn't finished. I'm gonna step aside and go to the bathroom again.
You've got to be shitting me.
No, it's just pee this time.
So
Can I
Waylon-
use my spells to help speed up the digging process?
Yeah, so I think you guys are just piling rocks. It doesn't take that long to find enough stones with 5 different people helping. So you guys can get it done pretty quickly. And anyone who wants to check out the bloody path, if anyone has the occult skill, you can roll occult to see if you can gain any knowledge from whatever this trail left behind is. That's Padre Juan. Ooh, Mild Phil's rolling unskilled. Padre Juan and Mild Phil, you both, looking at this, have seen instances of blood and kind of gore to this degree before. Whispers and maybe even first encounters for you guys prior to this of fabled bloody ones, creatures of blood and skin summoned from the bowels of hell by followers of a madman who was recently said to have been killed. This would not be a place that you would normally expect to see them, but you do know that if they are here, then his followers also have to be nearby, and they're most often related with the church of Reverend Grimes, to be specific.
Is there anyone else around here to notice that, or is it just the ones that rolled cult?
The ones who rolled a cult, and so that would be Jess and you, Padre, and then Mild Phil with his unskilled roll has seen stuff like this before. Also, specifically speaking, you recognize this very much so, Padre, because there was very similar trails of blood and creatures who attacked your village and down across the border.
Mire, look, this is a work of un demonio. ¿Lo ve? Ojo, mijo, ojo.
Yeah, this ain't good. This ain't good at all.
I don't speak Spanish, but that don't sound good.
Waylon says as he's zipping up his pants and walking back towards the group.
I'm really like scratching myself too. But I got that ivy. I think I got that ivy.
It's just red and patchy all down there.
Oh my god.
Everywhere. Actually, I didn't zip up my pants.
Oh, okay. He also wears it well, let's be honest. So, as you all are kind of more investigating this back path, you guys also begin to hear rustling in the surrounding trees, though there is not much of a breeze at the moment. As you all kind of listen more intently, you notice a sound all around you, carried by the surrounding pines, and it's very faint, but it makes a soft clicking sound, almost like one would use to call a dog or a horse. This is this is not something that you all are accustomed to hearing out in the wilds. And just but a moment later, you see all the horses, backed by the natives, begin attempting to amble toward the back of the camp, towards that trail, trying to head into the forest. And you see Angry Clouds, one of the natives, sitting on the back of his horse and attempting to hold your guys' animals as well, trying to restrain them as they seem, at this point, trying to get away as quickly as possible.
Can I call out my horse and see if it's good? We're, buddies enough for it to come over to me.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Go ahead, and anyone who's wanting to call their horse can roll survival checks, or if you don't have survival, you can roll unskilled.
Come on, horse. Come on, horse. Oh, yes.
So as you all attempt to call your horses and get them kind of corralled as Angry Clouds is trying to hold them back, one of them breaks free, and it happens to be Waylon Churchill's horse, properly named just Horse, as it ambles almost into the forest before Waylon's voice kind of echoes over the camp and the horse redirects and goes straight to Waylon. The other ones are being held at bay currently, not quite escaping as the other natives kind of get off their horses and begin to try to corral and calm them down. But Waylon, your horse has ambled up to you, seeming distraught at the moment, almost like it's scared.
The horses are scared. We should probably be scared too. Does anybody know what that clicking sound was?
As you ask this question, the natives begin walking up and kind of moving your guys' horses back towards the middle of camp, kind of giving them a little bit more room to control them. And at this point, Angry Clouds gets off his horse and pointedly begins to ask you, as you guys are finishing investigating the campsite. The arrows are obviously Sioux, but we trade them all the time, so the patrons in your town can hunt in the hills without guns. They're easy to get. Moccasins, too. It's doubtful Never Smiles would have new moccasins this time of year regardless. The old pair leading down the trail is probably his tracks, though. Downhill is very dangerous. Sioux?
You said the arrows belong to Sioux?
Yes,
Who's
that's our tribe, sir.
Oh, that's right.
Just shakes her head, just like hides it.
That's right.
Were you paying attention at all?
Who, me or Sue?
Oh my god.
A boy named Sue. At this point, the natives also are kind of like taken aback by like this like unconscientious lack of apparent knowledge about their tribe. One of the shaman Angry Clouds looks towards his companions, who give him a disapproving look as he rebukes them with a bit of a shrug, and then tells you that the trail leads down into a muddy swamp. We call it the Horse Eater Woods. An evil spirit lives there, it's said. It'll eat anything, but it tends to like horses most. It senses them here, calls to them when awakened, or so the legends say, but we don't go there, it's too dangerous. But if you do plan on heading down there, you should take salt. Spirits hate salt.
Don't mind if I do. Hand me all your salt you got.
I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what he's talking about.
We don't have the amount of salt that might be required, but we could always go back to town, or there is another that we could go and see.
Who?
His name is Dakota. He's a Sioux like us, but he's abandoned the old ways. We call him a Ravenite. And you guys can roll common knowledge if you all want to see if you guys know of Dakota. Let's see here. Phil, Ichabod, Lily, Jess, and Waylon. You all have heard of Dakota, although in Deadwood he's known by another name, mainly Trader Dick. And what Angry Clouds has told you is true. He's what's considered a Ravenite, and it's a Sioux individual who's abandoned the old ways and kind of taken in the ways of the American people, as far as like not participating in Native American trials and culture as much as what the Sioux nation would normally want. So, Angry Cloud says there is that closer source. And Dakota lives nearby, and he probably has salt. But since he does not follow the old ways, my friends consider him not an enemy in your language, but something like madman. Never Smiles has been missing since last night. If you are to help us, I'm afraid another trip to Deadwood would seal his fate, but we're asking you for the favor, so it's your decision, wherever we go.
Well, I definitely think we don't have too much time to spare. But if someone's close with salt, I definitely want it. I have a little pouch on my belt, and I reach into it, and I sprinkle a little salt over my shoulders.
Uh-huh.
But that's all I have is just a tiny little bag of salt.
I don't think I need no salt.
Niños, we don't need salt. We have the power de Papa Dios. That's all we need.
All right, Padre. Let's go.
So we are just
Let's tell
going
my horse to go away.
We're just going. Yeah, it moves.
Go on, get.
It kind of ambles like very quickly away from you, and then kind of looks back at you longingly before beginning to graze on the grass around it.
Be back. Don't worry.
Angry Cloud looks at his companions, who kind of dishearteningly just are shaking their heads no as they begin trotting off in the opposite direction.
Can I search the camp real quick for the salt that they would have had in the camp?
Yeah, roll a notice check.
With you people and carrying around salt.
Oh gosh.
It appears as though there is not any salt left in the camp. You do find a small satchel that looks like it has a bit of remnants, but it has been emptied out, scattered across the grass, almost purposefully.
Oh man, thought we'd get lucky. Anybody else seen some salt around the camp?
Does anyone else want to make a notice roll to see if you can find some salt around the camp?
Nope, not me. No salt. We're going. Let's go.
You said notice?
Notice roll.
Waylon's just gonna start walking.
Dude, I can't.
See, Lily, you and Phil, as you guys are looking, you kind of move through some of the barrels and crates over here that are mostly filled with raw ore, mostly rock and coal, and you do find a small satchel of salt, but it's about the same size as the one that that Jess has on her. It's maybe like a quarter of a cup of salt, but that seems to be the last remnants of salt in the camp, hidden away almost.
And I retcon a little bit, and as I was searching for salt, I actually spilled the salt that I had. That's what they see on the ground. It's actually my salt.
Yeah, it's actually your salt. That's perfect.
Waylon, did you make this mess? Do you know how precious this stuff is?
No, ma'am.
Just
No,
sprinkles
ma'am.
more salt over her shoulders. Oh, may the demons not get me.
My companions decided that they're not going to accompany us further if we're going to be dealing with Ravenites. But if you all truly do plan to just venture down into the Horse-Eater Woods without the aid of salt, then I will follow you wholeheartedly.
Go get them rabbit knights.
No, Ravenites.
God bless you.
What is it to be? Do we venture forth without protection?
Waylon's already gone.
Okay.
They're walking away. You'll have to stop me.
How far away is that ride?
For Dakota,
Yeah.
it's probably less than a few miles to the north of here.
Maybe like a 30-minute ride.
Yeah, probably around there. As long as we don't run into anything on the way.
Yeah, I think it's worth to get some salt. You never know when you might need some more salt.
Waylon, as you're heading down this kind of slick drop in the terrain, can I have you just roll agility? 14, holy shit. You begin to like slip on the soft mud and the blood and the skin that's been torn and thrown in here. But as you slide, you turn and like you grip the ground. You manage to save yourself from just rolling down this steep decline. It's very impressive for a man your size to be that agile. And it might catch some of the other party members off guard at the quickness that you just saved yourself.
Like a falling panda.
It'd be one of those things where I'm like, y'all see that? But nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just completely ignored.
As you yell that, you see all of their backs are turned. They're talking to angry clouds, and nobody was there to witness your feat of acrobatics there.
Waylon, what are you whining about?
Nothing, ma'am. Just moving along.
You do have some of the gore from the ground on your hands now. I mean, you might wipe off, maybe not. I don't know how worried about his hygiene Waylon is.
Because I'm talking to a pretty lady, I'm gonna be like kind of patting at my pants, and hopefully she notices that the zipper's unzipped, and then I'll kind of look down at it and what are we doing? Don't tell me y'all want to go get that salt.
Jess just shakes
I'm
her
gonna start
head
climbing
at
back
Waylon.
up.
Oh, okay. And she just, I vote we go get some more salt. They say it will protect us. I believe it'll protect us. You can never be too careful, especially when it comes to demons.
Horse.
The horse ambles over to you.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. So are you guys gonna go ahead and head up to Dakota? Vader Dick?
Yes, I believe Mr. Dick might have some other items as well. Possibly.
Might have something useful, that's for sure. Maybe even might have salt bullets. That might be useful.
Sorry, what?
As you all begin heading northward, you are led onto almost a more discernible road than what you guys came up here on. A mile or so from the camp, you begin to see off in a bit of a distance a string of rough campsites along Yellow Creek. Numerous miners can be seen to either side of the trail, cooking, repairing tools, or waiting out the drizzle that's beginning to start up again. Most of them sitting in their tents, staying out of the rain. As you guys begin riding into this makeshift kind of shanty town, you see them looking out at you with hard, sullen eyes. A few nod hello to angry clouds or you guys, but most of them are minding their own business. And you see scattered here and there along the path are many leaflets, different like pamphlets and stuff that are littering the ground around the main road.
Can I hop down and grab one?
Yeah. As you grab it and pick it up, you kind of brush some of the mud off of it. And it just says, "Come, brothers and sisters, to the Chapel of Red Waters in Deadwood, Dakota Territory. We provide sustenance for both the body and the soul. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land." Isaiah 1:19.
Man, all these priests think they can outdo what our padre does. We only need one priest. Padre does everything.
Eso mismo.
You see a few of the miners as you pick up and reading the leaflet. They kind of look at you just uncomfortably almost and quickly turn away and begin heading back towards some of their tents.
I call out to them, "Hey, what's your problem?"
One of them turns around. "We ain't got no problem, miss. I'm just trying to get through my day, wait out the rain, and get back to work. All right?"
Oh, sorry, excuse me, I didn't realize you were real. Hops back on my horse.
What? No, what? Now I have questions as you begin to like trot away.
Waylon's just going around going, "Hola! Hola!" Just holding his hand up.
I'm sorry, sir. I do not speak the Espanol, but we do have an individual here in town who does. If you would need a translator.
No, we got Padre.
Oh, you speak English?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I was confused.
What do you think I spoke?
But you came up and you said "hola" to me, which made me assume that you were needing help and maybe did not speak the language.
Waylon doesn't even acknowledge him anymore, just turns around and starts going.
The man just seems like just heavily confused by this interaction. As you guys continue to ride through the town about half a mile through, you guys come to a sutler's wagon set up and open for business. You see a haggard-looking man with blue eyes and black hair, a worn coat, and a bowler steps forward. Angry Clouds waves at him. "This is Trader Dick, otherwise known as Dakota. He is part Sioux and part non-Sioux. He walks in our world and the world of your people." Dakota steps forward. What can I help you with? He asks in a very clear non-Sioux accent.
Well, you an odd one. Here looking for salt. We need lots of it.
You need lots of salt? What are you
Yes.
doing, fighting a demon? At this point, Angry Clouds kind of like looks down at the ground uncomfortably. Oh,
I didn't want to come. They brought me here.
all right. Well, if it's salt you want, I got about 5 pounds of it, but it's about $1 a pound.
Do you have any salt ammo?
I do not sell ammo in my establishment, sadly. Mostly I peddle to the miners here. Any food or other ingredients that they may need to make their lives here even just a tad bit more comfortable.
Well, bless your heart, but we'll take all that salt.
And a few of you who, like, $1 for a pound of salt is extremely high, but fairly normal up in the hills where salt and trade are very scarce. He also has some lesser things like other spices. He does not have ammo, but he does have dynamite. Just kind of basic necessities and things that miners would need of.
Y'all got any bacon?
I do not personally sell bacon, but I'm sure if you were to ask some of the individuals who live here, they may spare a
Stop
bit of their
listening
food.
and turn away from him.
Sir? Oh, okay. This has been an interesting yet informative conversation.
Just
Well,
walks over and
Mr.
hands him $5.
He takes it and begins like offloading this 5 1-pound bags of salt.
Mr. Dick, how much do you have your dynamite there going for?
You wish to buy some dynamite?
Possibly.
Well, how many sticks of dynamite are you wanting? That's the question that we should answer first and foremost, I think.
Oh, maybe around 5. I think that should be plenty.
5 sticks of dynamite. I have no problem selling those goods to you. And my dynamite, although may seemingly be a little bit more on the high side, is well worth it when you're needing something to blow up this far up in the mountains. But yes, anyway, setting that aside, each stick of dynamite is $8. But if you're going to buy 5, then I'll mark that down to 5. So $25 for the 5 sticks right there
It is
in your
quite
pocket.
expensive.
Padre Juan looks at Ichabod and says, Cuidado con señor Pinga, muy caro. He starts rubbing his fingers.
It is quite expensive, my friend.
Padre, ask about the bacon.
¿Qué? ¿Lechón? ¿Qué quiere?
How much would Ichabod think like dynamite normally goes for?
Maybe around $2 or $3 a stick.
That's quite a hefty price, my friend.
Yes, but where else are you going to get dynamite this far up in the sticks? I'm running a business here, and no offense to you lot, you do seem like an honorable... And then he kind of looks over at Waylon, who kind of blew him off for the most part in a very honorable sort, but I cannot lower my prices for you, because if I did, then the fine people of this small makeshift city would also expect me to lower my prices for them. And then we're all losing.
What other items does he have? Does he have like gunpowder or anything like that?
Yeah, he has basic stuff. He doesn't have like ammunition, but he does have like gunpowder. He has some explosives, other mining materials. He has like coats and like other skins. He has your basic like general equipment. Like he has like axes, backpacks, canteens. He even seems to have some genuine.
Yeah. So here's
Cigars.
a game related like game question here.
Yep.
So can I use my knowledge like of the MacGyver skill to like buy the ingredients to make an explosive?
For sure.
Waylon's gonna begin playing his harmonica.
Mm.
Paying attention to nobody.
How many explosives are you wanting to be able to make?
Like 5.
5? Okay. So you could probably get the supplies that you would probably need for 5 explosives for probably around $9 or $10.
Okay. So I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll be like, how about do you have a list of these materials here? And I give him a little piece of paper.
Yes,
Is there a list of them?
I can help you with that. For sure, this seems like a dangerous sort of thing that you might be attempting, so I do warn caution when using them. Some of these materials are very volatile, is all I'm saying. You do understand this, correct, sir?
I look at him and smile. Don't worry about that, sir. I have this taken care of.
All right, very well. And he begins to gather up the different materials and pushes them across the counter of his smuggler's wagon.
While he's gathering that material, I'll pull out like a little container and just take a deep inhale from it. My eyes kind of roll back in my head a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. How much is that going to cost me?
We'll call it an even $10.
Well, sounds better than the amount you were going to charge for the dynamite. So I give him the $10.
Okay. He happily takes it with a smile. So, anything else I can do for you fine folk other than the salt in great amounts and the strange list of ingredients that was just handed to me?
That'll be all from me, Mr. Dick.
Padre, the bacon.
We should probably get going. She looks pointedly at Waylon without buying anything or taking anything else.
Waylon has a very unique smile where he's missing a couple teeth and he thinks it's attractive. Kind of just smiles at you.
Trader Dick, Dakota, kind of looks at you all and says, I agree with the lady. I recommend you guys get on your way. Not that I am saying you need to leave, but I do not sell any sort of provision like bacon at this current moment, so I would not be able to help with that task in which you are asking for assistance in.
Nobody said anything about bacon.
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
No, nothing.
Right.
You said you sell bacon?
No, I unequivocally do not sell bacon.
Okay.
Just starts pushing Waylon out. All right, let's go.
Let me know when. Come on, horse.
The horse ambles back towards you.
I don't think. Have I gotten off of it?
Oh, maybe not. No.
I feel like all of this has been done from my horse.
On horseback? Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Do you guys need to do anything else in this shanty town before heading back?
No, I'm good.
No, good.
So as you guys begin heading back towards the Horse Eater woods, I need everyone to go ahead and roll another riding, piloting, or driving roll for me. So as you guys begin riding back towards the Horse Eater woods, the horses again seem to be a little bit agitated, and while most of you can keep them in line, Ichabod and Phil, you guys, your horses are acting much more agitated and are very hard to control, as one of them begins to kind of kick up and throws Ichabod off the horse, barreling into Mild Phil and knocking him on the ground as well. The horses begin to try to run ahead of the rest of the group, now without riders.
Waylon just bursts out laughing.
Can I chase after my horse?
Yep.
Try to get it.
Go ahead and roll survival for me. Anyone else trying to catch horses can roll survival as well. If you don't have survival, then you can roll unskilled.
Can I offer them a help?
You can roll survival if you'd like. Try to grab onto one of them as it's riding by, or unskilled if you don't have survival.
Yeah, a 12 or a 2?
That's a 12. You get to take the higher roll between the two.
Yes.
So, as the horses just rush forward, Jess, you manage to throw out one of your arms, catching the bridle of one of the horses. As you pull back, you're almost yanked off your horse, but as you manage to keep a hold, the horse that you've grabbed the bridle of quickly slows down, and though it is still agitated and skittish, it is not continuing to run.
So I just caught one horse, right?
Yep.
Hey, now, chill.
The other one just is kicking up dirt as it disappears down through the trail and through the woods. So somebody's gonna have to buddy up on a horse.
Before the horse gets out of range, can I yell and call that horse as well to try to get him to turn around and come back?
Yeah. Roll survival, but with a -2, because it is not your horse.
Oh, it's definitely an unskilled check. There's no survival in Waylon.
Definitely, yeah. So go ahead and roll unskilled.
Waylon's survival is built into him. The exact same way. Horse!
It does not even glance or turn or anything. Your horse kind
Instead-
of whinnies and kind of kicks up on the front a little bit to get your
And
attention back towards it.
I need to do an athletics check to see if I stay on.
Do it.
Oh,
No,
I definitely fall off my horse.
You fall off the horse into the mud. Your horse doesn't take off, but it's kind of like staring at you angrily because you've called for another horse despite it being directly under you.
Well, tried. Not enough room on my horse for anyone else.
This massive beast.
So whose horse was saved or captured?
Let's see. We'll say that it was Ichabod's horse that was saved. So Phil's horse has disappeared into the thickets and woods.
So since this is my horse, I walk up to my horse. I said, next time I won't give you any treats before we leave, and I jab him with a needle.
Oh, shit.
With some type of calming liquid in it.
Okay. Yeah, the horse begins to calm a little bit with a bit of sedative in its system now. So,
Jeez.
who wants to offer?
You can call it sedative if you want. That's okay.
Yeah.
I see we got a bit of a
Me.
conundrum. Nor on second thought, might be a little bit of room over here if Lily wants to take horse for a spin. What do you say, Lily?
I just kind of look at him like
I'm gonna give you
you're
that big
acting kind of
smile.
creepish. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Suit
I don't know
yourself.
about that. I don't know about that.
You're lost.
And then I just
Come
kind
on,
of
Padre.
ride off ahead.
Okay. As you all continue to ride, Phil catching a ride with one of you guys, whether it's Angry Clouds or one of the other party members.
Not me.
You guys make it back to the camp, and at this point, as you guys trot into camp, you guys find a pair of strangers who seem to be investigating the scene of the crime. One man wears a very clean white suit beneath a cheap duster and a straw hat. Another man in a dark suit, a raincoat, struggles beneath the canvas of a camera in the drizzling rain and can be heard to say, 3, 2, 1, in a very heavy accent. The camera flashes on the macabre scene and a dark-haired man emerges from the camera's covering. And
That man's calling for you.
Can I have everyone roll a common knowledge check? So it seems like most of you recognize this man. Everyone except for Ichabod recognizes this
What am I
man
rolling?
as common knowledge.
I still think he called for Juan.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of you except for Ichabod recognize this is Mario. And the other man is a blonde-haired man named Lacey O'Malley, a well-known news hound for the Tombstone Epitaph. Anyone who reads the Daily Rag likely knows his name as well as his reputation. Lacey is quick to approach you all, kind of trying to keep you from the disturbing scene. Hello, my friends. It is clear we've got some skullduggery here, and I'd appreciate it if you did not attempt to disturb this crime scene.
Y'all can see him too, right?
That voice is oddly familiar. Is that you, Mario?
It is me. Yes, it is me, Mario. Oh wait, I'm sorry. A little hoarseness in my throat. It's me, Mario. Right, and also me, Lacey O'Malley. Let's not forget, I am the owner of the Tombstone Epitaph, so you probably should have recognized me before my friend Mario here, who is just my kindly picture man.
Mario, he comes over to the saloon every once in a while. You say your name was Stacy?
No, my
Kinda weird
name
for a
is,
man.
No, my name is Lacey O'Malley. Very different from Stacy.
I mean, not really. You just changed the first letter.
No, I didn't change anything. My name has been Lacey since birth.
No, I'm just saying you confused it, but never mind.
You're not one of them, you don't got no hitch in your giddy up, do you?
I do not know what
No,
you
man.
are getting at, sir. But if you are asking what I think you're asking, then no, I think.
You're not on the salt, are you?
I'm not on the salt, if I take your meaning, which I wholeheartedly do not.
Alright, y'all, he checks out. Padre, he was asking for Juan. Might need
Dígame. ¿Qué pasó?
I don't speak Spanish.
I was not asking for one at all, but like I said, if you all could just kind of secure a distance from this scene so we could finish taking our pictures and uncovering the truth of this very dismal crime.
That's very
¿Qué
odd,
dijo
'cause that's our job.
este gringo?
Also, Padre, you've noticed that they have like pulled the stones off of the body so as they could get pictures.
I'll get off my horse to get my picture taken.
Sir, please don't approach any further. Like I said,
No, all right.
you'd all
All
could
right.
keep
I
your
understand.
distance.
Bit of a ladies' man, anyways. Put me in that new GQ magazine.
But disregarding that comment, because I do not recognize your meaning, what are you all doing here?
Excuse me?
What are
Well-
your intentions here at this crime scene?
Well, this is our active crime scene that we have been investigating, and now you're intruding in. If you are in fact real, she just like reaches out real quick, pokes him real quick.
Yeah,
You are real.
Yeah, he's real. He kind of like is taken aback as you poke his face. He's like, well, from what I can tell in this crime scene, it was some of the natives, like the one who follows you, and it seems that they must have escaped down that back path there. There's a lot of blood, so they probably dragged another body with them.
Was it another body? Or the body from the demon that did this? Just because there's arrows doesn't mean it was the natives. Small-minded man.
What do you mean of demon? Demons aren't real, my fair child. This was definitely done by the likes of man. There is no question to that.
Small-minded man. Demons.
Thought it was a boy named Sue that did this.
Goodness gracious, Waylon, do you pay attention to anything?
Yes, ma'am.
So, like we were just discussing, if you all could back off of the crime scene and I could finish getting my investigative journalism done, and then you can freely do whatever you wish to with these errant bodies out in the wilderness.
We already did what we wanted to do and we buried them, and you just dug them up so you can get pictures. If you ask me, that's mighty fine disrespectful.
Well, I'll tell you this much, young lady. There is no such thing as disrespect when it comes to journalism, because to get the most candid photo, you must pose all individuals within it.
So the
Waylon
photos ain't
does
gonna be
this.
real. It's staged. You're not even coming here for the truth, you're coming here for drama.
That may be true, but you could never prove it, and the likes of the masses always prefer the drama over anything mundane.
Who's holding the camera?
Mario in the back. He's still managing to snap pictures now, getting pictures of you guys in it as well.
Waylon's posing.
Yeah.
Padre Juan starts putting the rocks back on the bodies. Starts saying a prayer, walking around the bodies as he starts placing rocks, and he has his cross out in his hand now.
Well, I would ask that you not do that, but if you insist on doing it, then we might happen to be done with this in general at the moment. Mario, pack up the stuff. We're going down the slope and finding whatever remnants of the attacker that we can to prove unequivocally that this was a man who did this and not a demon. They
Should we steal
begin
his
walking
camera?
away.
I think we should steal the camera.
Up to you guys.
No, just me. Alright. We'll just follow track.
Do they look like armed or like they could handle anything? Like, are they just common people?
They each have like a basic 6-shooter, but they don't look like they would be skilled in using it.
Alright, suit yourself.
Also, it is a little strange that they found this place, because as far as you guys know, you were the first ones told about this site by the natives who came and got you.
Suspicious. That's why I'm suspicious. How'd they find out and they instantly wanted to blame the Indians for this?
You just hear as they begin ambling down the slope. It's me, Mario. Yeah, we know, Mario. We know your name is Mario. Calm down. Just get
Hope we
the
don't
camera
regret not
ready.
grabbing that.
Are you suggesting that they might be behind this?
I think they have an in and a know why this is happening. Maybe not the ones that did it, but I think they know what's going on.
Alright, what are we doing?
On the blood trail, I guess.
Niños, if it's the time, now's the time to stop them before they go.
Should we follow them then? I'm down to follow him. I'll shoot that guy right now.
As Jess
I'm
kind
still
of
up
grips
to
her
it.
rifle.
Yeah.
Are you guys just following down the slope?
Yep.
Okay. As you guys begin to head down the slope, you begin to see a series of horse skulls mounted to trees. Most of the skulls are old and covered in moss and grime. They've obviously been there for many years. They begin to form an obvious perimeter, warning travelers to go no further.
Larry and Biden.
The farther down you go, the more anxious and reckless your horses begin to act as well.
Shield your eyes, horse.
How far away is this swamp?
Angry Cloud says it shouldn't be much further, probably another 150 feet.
I don't think we should take our horses in there. As it is, with all the mud, we might as well just send them into death now, because I don't even think they'd survive the mud.
Very astute of you, and he hops off his horse and begins hitching it to one of the trees outside the perimeter.
Who's gonna watch them, though?
Well, I mean, they're not going to go anywhere if we tie them to trees.
True.
Like this guy. Windbreaker. Is that your name?
No, it's Angry Clouds.
Angry Cloud.
That's the first correct thing that you've said all night. So he hitches his horse, and anyone else who wishes to not take their horses any further can hitch them. As you move through now even more twisting and turning, wet, overhanging branches, you guys come upon an even more disturbing scene. The trail leads down into a bowl between the hills, a muddy path winding between large pools of brown, stagnant water. Piles of bones lie everywhere, from horses to deer, certainly some humans. Some are fresh, strewn about randomly or poking up out of the mud. Others are much older, however, and covered with moss and mildew. While some lie singly, while others lie in thick, jagged piles, cracked open as if something sucked the marrow out of them after shedding the flesh that once covered them. Two gory horse carcasses lie near the head of the trail, one of which you do recognize. Something has pulled apart their rib cages and devoured their innards. Much of the beast's heads and flanks still remain, however, probably saved later for whatever creature dwells here.
God. Waylon
The
wretches.
Yeah, you just... Ugh. The clicking sound, the susurration that you had heard before is overwhelming now. It's still just a very loud whisper to you all, but you hear your horses, even how far away they are, going insane with the sound, barely able to stand it.
I swear, if I come back, my horse is dead, I'm gonna kill someone.
Is there any kind of, I guess, organs, or have they all kind of been eating or decomposed?
All of the innards have been eaten and ripped out. The only thing that seems left is some of the surrounding meat and flanks and heads of the horses.
Can Padre Juan sense evil in the area?
Yes, you do. The first thing that catches your senses is a number of undead creatures that you can feel your deity like warning you not to move any further, for only death lies ahead.
He says, Padre Juan says to the group, "Cuidado, peligro. It's not safe over here."
As you guys are coming upon the scene and examining it, Waylon rolling a notice roll, even, you begin to hear movement in the trees nearby, and then a very human whisper, as you see in one of the trees a Native American individual who kind of holds his finger to his lips and just says, "Be still, it is very close."
Do we know this person?
You do not recognize them, but Angry Clouds kind of approaches further and says, That is my companion, Never Smiles.
What's the Never Smiles doing here?
Must have been chased, but I don't know what he means by." And at this point, you all hear wet, sticky sounds from what seems to be a pile of bloody flesh at the base, the tree that Never Smiles is cornered within. As from within the piles of bones and gore around the tree, these kind of blobs of flesh and blood begin to pile up above the bones. You hear cracking of their bones as they kind of take a more standard human-looking form from the piles of flesh and blood that they had assumed, as now they hear sound. And since they cannot manage to get at the prey that they've been waiting for, they look to be turning towards you all as they quickly begin rushing you guys.
They're going off of sound?
It is hard to tell, but they are running at you guys very quickly. And sadly, this one shot was not able to be completed in 2 hours, so we will pick this up next weekend as you guys are being rushed by these so-called bloody ones, these zombified creatures of just pure horror.
I'll be there. I'm ready.
So, thank you everyone for watching.